Hey, how's it going, guys? Ricardo here. You probably clicked on this video because you're in the fintech space and you really want to start gaining more organic traffic to your website that will drive more conversions. And the fintech space is extremely competitive, so implementing an SEO strategy will definitely be more beneficial, not only within the organic marketing channel, but this can also be the overall foundation to really start driving more leads and utilizing this for your other marketing channels, such as either your email marketing campaigns or your paid ad side of things. And in this video, I'm going to break down the exact SEO for Fintech strategy playbook they should be following and break down every step by step and using real case examples so you have a better understanding on ways you can implement this to your overall marketing strategy. All right, guys, I'm going to break down the exact Fintech SEO processes you should be taking when both strategizing and implementing these SEO strategies within your website, and really just try to break down everything from A to Z and use real case examples I explained before. So we're going to first start off with what is Fintech SEO, right? So SEO basically stands for search engine optimization, and the purpose of this is to really start ranking for specific keywords within search engines that your targeted audiences would be searching for, right? And the overall Fintech SEO process funnel should look like this. You should start off with your overall keyword research, making sure you're identifying search terms that your basically potential prospect might be searching for. Then it will move on to more of like the content creation. And within the content creation, it's also really important to what type of stage within the customer journey your basically potential client or customer is searching for. And then the overall just search engine ranking and really trying to optimize every single step of the process to really start ranking high within the searches. And this would overall hand in hand start attracting more conversions since you're really just focusing and narrowing down on specific search terms that you're trying to rank for that would potentially increase more organic conversions and ultimately revenue. And the overall benefits when it comes to implementing an SEO strategy for your fintech website is you don't really have to spend on ads. So the ROI is probably like the best compared to all other marketing channels. And then this can also lay out a foundation to really start pivoting your strategy to other marketing channels, such as email marketing, or even building a basically custom audience with your organic traffic data to really start creating more of remarketing ads, which are like laser focused on people who've been on your website before. So the first step before taking any action to your fintech SEO strategy is make sure you do the keyword research and market analysis, right? And you want to just basically close the gap. The mistake people make is people would write about specific topics that they think the audience would be interested in. But what you really need to do is have this backed by data, right? And making sure people are searching for the type of content you are creating based on the keywords you're looking for. So an example of this is you want a gap between the questions people are asking, right? And this can be pretty complex, but a simple example of this is what is the best app to track expenses, right? And this is more of like the awareness stage, probably more within the middle of the funnel since people are interested in buying a solution where there's an app that tracks their expenses. But this can basically showcase to you more of like a long tail keyword, which are typically less competitive when you're ranking for these. And then you also want to focus more on like the pain points, right? So what's the overall target audience your specific fintech business is basically targeting? And you really want to narrow it down to this specific pain point and really just niche it down and become an authority and basically curating content around this pain point, right? And this can be either financial challenges, ways to invest money, or just finding overall common struggles that you provide solutions for that can target your audience. Then more of just making sure you're finding more of those money keywords that are just basically driving to your landing pages. And these are buyer ready keywords that are basically focused more on like the commercial aspect of the intent. And these are basically bottom of the funnel keywords and people who are ready to buy based on the intent, right? So an example of this can be someone searching for secure online payment systems, right? The intent is someone is looking for this specific software that would basically provide a solution to the problem. So how do you find these specific keywords? You can use a tool like SEMrush, and you can basically just start playing around with this and really just searching for the overall intent of what your basically business has to offer. So for an example, we've searched the keyword invoice software, and we can basically start gaining more data on the overall monthly search volume and the overall keyword difficulty, meaning how competitive would it be to rank for these keywords. Then you can also just filter out and just look at different keyword variations and seeing different type of variations that would basically work for the overall software that you're providing. So for example, you can really just niche down and hone in specifically for like invoicing software for a small business. And this would be like a bottom of the funnel type keyword. And then you can also filter it through these questions here, which will also give you keyword variations on long tail keywords on questions people are asking for. But this is a good way to really start pulling all this data and collecting all this data and really trying to plan out exactly how you're going to structure your content and the type of keywords you want to start ranking for that are specific for your target audience. And another good strategy too, aside from really just looking at the specific keywords, try to pull the data from your competitors, right? So you can really just see what type of keywords your competitors are ranking for, and just basically pulling all this data as well, and really see where it fits. Since if they're a direct competitor of you, chances are they're going to be ranking for the specific keywords that you're ranking for, and you can just pretty much reverse engineer what they're doing. So for an example, I pulled in the overall data when it comes to wise.com. We could see like they're really bringing in a lot of traffic month over month and increasing on that. But you can basically just go into the keywords tab here, and you can see the exact type of keywords they're ranking. And I filter this through position, from the top rank down to the lowest. But they're ranking for 2 million keywords that you can basically just pull from. You can really see exactly what URL is ranking for the specific keyword, and you can just analyze their on-page content, what they're targeting when it comes to specific keywords, and just implement this into your overall strategy. So you can just export this and just work on a spreadsheet. And then based on the keyword research you've done and the competitor analysis you've done as well, you can pretty much just see the overall gap for keywords that they're not ranking for, and just trying to really just bridge this gap and try to bring in more basically organic visitors to your site. And also just look at the competition and seeing how they're structuring it, and just reverse engineer this as well. Right. So basically every keyword has a different intent, and it's also within the different basically customer acquisition journey. So once you pull all this data and all these keywords that you really want to start ranking for, it's important to really start categorizing them into what stage they're going to be in, since this will also play a part into how people would interact, and also the overall intent when it comes to the content you're trying to create, right? So typically long tail keywords would be more of top of the funnel when it comes to your marketing acquisition stage, but this would also bring in a majority of the awareness into your funnel, right, and to your overall brand. But this would typically convert less, but this can be repurposed, as explained before, into targeted audiences, such as implementing a Facebook pixel or just a Google remarketing tag. And all the audiences you have within this, if you set up your tags right, you can basically just filter it through people who haven't converted and start running ads to this, right? So if people see your brand or business more than once, they're more likely to have more of that trust, which will overall just increase more of the ROAS when it comes to your ads. Or you can also just start implementing a little freebie when it comes to your content, and really just funnel it down to your email marketing campaign. Maybe you have a free PDF or a free checklist, in return for their email. And then you can really start building your email marketing list this way as well, specifically just through your organic channel traffic. And this is, as I explained before, this will be a good foundation when it comes to your overall marketing strategy. And you can also just lead this down the funnel, making sure that you have really good internal links and really good navigation for your users. And that way they can just find their way down to like the bottom of the funnel and hopefully convert as well. Then you have middle of the funnel, which is people basically in the consideration stage, but aren't really exactly sure on the type of software or product they want to buy, and they just typically need more information, right? So this is more of like the warmer side of things, middle of the funnel. An example of this would be a search for top payment processors in 2025. People are looking for different payment processors, but don't really know exactly what type of payment processors brand they should be working with. And this would be a great way to really start trickling in more people through your overall customer acquisition funnel. Then you have bottom of the funnel, as I explained before, and this would be more of like landing pages where people are like all ready to buy and are searching for action-oriented keywords. So after you planned out the exact type of keywords you're going to be targeting, and also organize them, whether they're going to be top, middle, or bottom of the funnel, and you have a good idea on your overall content calendar, the next step of this is to basically create content that is on page optimized based on the keyword research you've done. And like these are like the three main components when it comes to basically optimizing your on page SEO, which are basically your meta tags, which would be your meta descriptions, and your title tags, which would basically be the overall, in a sense, ad when it comes to the Google search. So an example of this, if I search top payment processor in 2025, you have the AI overviews, You can see here, this is would be the title tag and the meta description, but I think an easier way if I just show you like the overall organic listing. So yeah, you have the title tag here, which typically contains the targeted keywords. Then you have the meta description, and this would serve a purpose when it comes to ranking, but also when it comes to increasing your click-through rate and really trying to stand out from your competitors when it comes to the searches. Then you have the headings, which would be the overall content structure. And this should be really optimized not only for SEO but for readability, which would basically help your reader basically go through the overall content that you're creating much more easier. And this will also improve your keyword rankings and your basically overall user experience. Then the just overall content optimizations, you should be using a good amount of keyword density of your targeted keywords, right? If you're not talking or mentioning the keywords within your content, how you're going to rank for them, right? So it's important to really implement this, but make sure they fit naturally throughout the text. And then you should basically have at least, a couple, like maybe 4 secondary keywords you want to target, but you should have one overlying targeted keyword. This way, you have a chance to rank for multiple keywords within different variations of your specific keyword that you're trying to target. And make sure it's also engaging content to basically boost the overall audience retention and interaction, which would be also a ranking factor when it comes to the search engines. So you really want to just look at it as a scale, right? At one side, you really want to focus on writing for the search engine bots, and then also for your user experience for your targeted audience, and really meet the exact threshold that would basically be a perfect balance of both. A lot of people really just focus on one-shotting using like different AI LLMs to basically write the content for them and just trying to keyword stuff, but they're basically just going to be heavily focusing on the SEO optimization side of things and not really the user experience. It should be important to really have engaging, relevant content with personal experiences too, to really focus in on the conversion aspects, right? Since there's one side of it where, yeah, you rank number one, but is your content worth reading where people would actually convert, right? And then vice versa. If you really have really engaging content, but don't really have the targeted keywords within your content, how are you going to rank for that specific search query that your target audience would be searching for? So it's perfect. So it's really important to really balance your content for both users and search engines. So I'm gonna look at Wise for a good example of this. So for example, they're ranking number one for the keyword where to exchange for Canadian currency. You see they're ranking number one, really competitive keyword. And then if I open up, basically we can look at the overall structure of the content. So if we use detailed SEO extension, we can just look at the overall structure of this. So we can see within the title tag, they follow the best practices and have a good amount of characters. I think the limit should be around 65 to 70, but they implement the long tail keyword within the title tag. So the overall intent should match when people are searching for a query similar to this variation, to like how to get Canadian dollars or how to exchange them in the US. And then they have a really compelling description covering this as well. So if someone's heading abroad, here's everything you need to know into exchanging basically Canadian dollars within the US. Then we can look at the overall structure here. They have one H1, which you should only have one H1, and it should be the overall underlying topic of the content you're writing. So if we look at the overall headers, we can see here they have the overlying topic, which is basically how to get Canadian dollars or exchange Canadian dollars within the US. And your H1 should typically have your targeted keyword, since you're going to be talking about the overall topic containing your keyword. Then you have the specific H2s, which should be subtopics of this. So basically, they've broken it down to where to get Canadian dollars in the US, what to avoid, and just general frequently asked questions. So you can see here, they really optimize when it comes to just the overall keywords they're targeting. But then now I want to just break this down into how they're basically converting when it comes to writing this content, right? So they're basically trying to provide a solution for people's pain points. And this is more of like a long tail type keyword, which is more of like middle of the funnel. But you can see here that they have basically call to actions placed within their content. They also have a table of contents for easier user experience. But they're basically providing a lot of solutions, even different banks and exchange rates when you're doing this. But then they also, if you scroll down here, they basically showcase why they're a better option compared to everyone else. And they're highlighting how you get a better deal on currency conversions over 40 currencies, etc., etc. And then basically you can open up a free Wise account in the Wise app, and basically more call to action. So basically just drive these people down the funnel to like bottom of the funnel and to convert. And they just have also like clear also call to actions, which is like really clear and engaging. And you can see here it says say hello to Wise in green. And then obviously when you scroll down, they have other blogs that you can basically look into as well. But this is how you should basically be structuring your overall content. Specifically when it comes to like, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, you really want to start engaging people and really trying to move them forward to the overall customer journey acquisition, but also making sure you're providing value and it's SEO optimized. Now, another important step when it comes to your FinTech SEO strategy is focusing on the technical SEO aspect, which is extremely important. And I'm gonna just break down exactly different type of main focuses you should be doing when doing your technical SEO. And one of them is your site architecture, right? You really want to start positioning your overall site architecture where it's easy. A, it's easy for your users to navigate through, and B, it's easy for the search engines to navigate through. And what I mean by this is you really want to just create different topics based on the overall pages you're trying to create. So for example, if you have products, you want to basically break this down into like sub pages, which are like also child pages of the parent page when it comes to products. Same thing with services. Same thing as well when it comes to blog. And this step is particularly really important if you have more of like an enterprise type website where you have thousands of pages. When you have a lot of pages, it's going to be really hard for the search crawlers to navigate through page to page, making it harder for these type of pages that have more of like a crawl click depth to really get indexed. And really optimizing for your site architecture will optimize for your crawl budget, meaning when these search engine crawlers scan your website, they have an easier time finding all these pages. Then you really want to focus on creating your XML sitemap, which basically is a file that showcases all the type of pages and posts that you have, so crawlers have an easier time understanding this as well. Then there's the robots.txt, and you really want to optimize to control what these specific crawlers can and cannot basically crawl, and what you want to be indexed within the search engines, meaning visible within the search engines, or maybe there's pages that you really don't want to have indexed within the pages. And this can also help optimize the crawl budget, especially if you have like a really, really big website. Another important factor is the site speed. You want to ensure your pages load quickly, not only from a standpoint of, having these search crawlers easily crawl your pages and understand your pages much quicker, but also from a standpoint of user experience. You don't want your users to land on a really slow page speed, which typically, if you have a really slow page speed, would increase bounce rate, which is also a ranking factor when it comes to ranking your content. If you have a really high bounce rate, Google is going to typically prioritize these landing pages or blog posts less often. And then same thing as well when it comes to mobile optimization. A lot of these search crawlers prioritize how your pages load mobilely. Same thing as well. There's about 60 to 80% of users who are on mobile, and would be helpful when it comes to a better user experience. Same thing when it comes to ranking within the search engines. Then we have schema markup, and this is an HTML code that basically provides more context to the type of content you're providing, and this will enable you to also land within rich snippets within the search engine results. So going back onto the example of the blog post I showcased to you, we can see here that they have a schema markup specifically for articles, for this article that they're ranking for. And then you can basically see the script HTML code that basically highlights this. And this is basically signaling to the search engines the type of context of this content, right? So there's also other things such as, you have video schema markup, where this will also help give more context to the search engines that this is a video, and help you rank within the video section when it comes to the search engines. And you also have things such as local businesses, signaling to the Google search crawlers that this overlying website is a local based service business. And there's a lot more schema markup you can basically utilize to really start improving the overall searchability when it comes to this. And this would be also beneficial when it comes to ranking for LLM chatbots. There's SearchGPT, there's Perplexity, there's Claude, where basically people are using these as a way to conduct searches as well. And basically implementing these schema markups will help you increase visibility when it comes to these LLMs. Now, the next important SEO pillar you want to focus on is off-page SEO, also known as link building. And these are really important when it comes to building more of the authority. And the importance of authority is the higher the authority you have, the easier it is to rank for more competitive keywords, because basically Google is seeing you more as an authoritative when it comes to the overall industry that you're in. It signals trust and relevance when it comes to search engines, right? If you have a brand new website, you're most likely not going to be able to rank for extremely competitive keywords, since A, the age of your domain is also important, but B, you probably have no backlinks from websites that are within your industry that are linking back to you. And basically, backlinks are just a vote of confidence of brand mentions from other important brands linking back to your website from their website. And this basically influences overall how visible you are when it comes to the LLM search bot engines. Since a lot of these LLM models are prioritizing brand mentions, which are basically just backlinks, when pulling your data. So this is why like backlinks is probably one of the most important pillars when it's coming into 2025. Let me give you an example of this when I search within SearchGPT. So if you search for best payment processors, and then there's also recommendations when it comes to this. So this is why I highlighted the importance of really niching down into basically what you provide within your solutions in the targeted niche. But if I do a search for this, we can see it's searching the web to give you a more appropriate response to your search, right? So when I see they gave me a list of different softwares I could be using, but if you noticed, when you go under the different type of sources, none of these are basically articles within the brand itself, right? So for example, how come we can see that it's being basically referenced within a NerdWallet blog where it's highlighting the 12 best payment processors. Same thing with everything else. Like a majority of these are being pulled from brand mentions, which is really important to highlight why this is specifically important. And LLMs are basically pulling a lot of the search engine market share, and this is definitely the future on how basically people are going to conduct their searches, which is why this is really important. And then basically highlighting more of the domain rating on Wise. I showed you that example of the type of keyword they're ranking for, which was extremely competitive. And a good point to really showcase is that they have a really high domain rating, meaning they're really trusted when it comes to the search engines. And they'll have typically an easier time when it comes to ranking for keywords, as long as they have that on-page optimization. And this scales from 1 to 100. And the more basically backlinks that you're getting from industries that are specifically within your industry will help influence increasing this domain rating, and just having an easier time ranking overall. But not only that, also start bringing in more referral traffic to your website. And then we can basically see this overall graph on how would this work. So from a link building aspect, if you earn high quality links that are focused within relevant and valuable links, you start building authority, which establishes credibility through these brand mentions, which would then improve your rankings since the search engines are trusting you as an authority, which you would gain visibility. And this would also affect chatbot training, data perceptions, and also influence the overall AI LLM models, helping you rank higher within this. And yeah, that's basically more of the overall processes you should be taking when it comes to implementing your FinTech SEO strategy. Please leave it in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And this is just the overall perspective on a generic SEO strategy you should be taking when it comes to FinTech SEO. Obviously, every business is different and need a SEO strategy that's tailored to them. And if you do need a tailored SEO strategy, you can book a free 30-minute consultation call. And within this consultation call, we can just basically highlight the overall underlying issues you should be focusing on, or the overall gaps when it comes to the specific underlying gap within your market share. And then we also offer done-for-you services. Anyways, if you guys found any value in this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.